Hi, welcome to Week in Review. I'm Phil O'Connor, the Live Enterprise Director here at the Oklahoman, joined this week by our sports deputy editor, I guess, Darnell Mayberry. From the Enterprise desk, we have Josh Delaney, and from business, my old friend Don McCoy. Josh has a six-part series actually, that kicks off Sunday. We've been spending some time looking into the criminal justice system in Oklahoma County. Tell us a little bit about the series.
Well, we follow an inmate through the system. It is an overcrowded, overburdened system. The jail's population right now is about twice what it was designed for, but it's really a symptom of bigger problems.
And the kickoff for this was there was a study that the Oklahoma Chamber of Commerce essentially funded, a wide-ranging study, kind of endorsed by a lot of the community leadership, that calls for a lot of changes to the way things are done over there.
Yeah.
But there's been some resistance, and it hasn't necessarily gone as planned. Talk a little bit about what's going on there.
Well, the Vera Institute of Justice is out of New York, and they've helped a lot of cities around the country overhaul their criminal justice system. They've made several recommendations. Updating communication systems here is a big deal. They're saying that policymakers here can't make data-driven decisions because the old systems they're old. They don't know why people are in jail. They don't know how long a lot of them are staying. They don't know where they go when they get out. So that's one thing, just update your system. Stop bringing in people on low-level offenses, traffic violations, and things like that. Adjust the bond schedule. Be more flexible in allowing people to pay lower bail to get out.
Because one of the things that you found in the series is, and one of the things that Vera pointed out, was that our jail is full of a lot of low-income people who are there essentially because they can't afford the fines they've been given, and in a lot of cases, the reason they're in jail is because they can't pay the fines they got for being in jail.
Yeah. We had the interim sheriff here said you have folks that really, literally cannot pay a couple $100s in bail to get out.
And they're staying weeks, months, and in some cases, yet to be convicted of any crime.
Right. The Vera report said it could be about 80% of the people who are in the jail are pre-trial and have actually not been convicted of a crime.
So it's an amazing series. It's a significant problem as the community wrestles with the debate of whether to build a new jail, which some estimate could cost as much as $400 million.
$400 million.
And again, that was sort of the genesis of this is that the best use of $400 million, and will that change anything? As we all know, our jail has been flawed from the moment it opened in 1991. But in recent years, with the surging number of inmates and there's just a whole ton of problems that they confront.
Yeah, and a big part of the solution, a lot of people say, is to increase diversion programs for those that are struggling with drug abuse and mental illness. We just don't have enough of that in Oklahoma County. So, and people make the argument that if you invest in that, you're going to reduce the jail population and you can save money here and there. But it's a expansive subject.
Yeah, and just as the state deals with its prison overpopulation, we remain one of the most incarcerated states in the nation. So it's a big problem, and we'll see where it ends up. But it's a great series. Like I said, it starts Sunday. It runs 6 days. You can get it in the Oklahoman. I'm not sure you'll be able to get News OK right away, but not long after. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. Yep. Hey, big news on the basketball front. Draft day.
Yep.
Who is he?
That's what a lot of people are asking. His name's Terrence Ferguson. He's a 19-year-old young man from the Dallas area, but he did not play college basketball. He went overseas to Australia. The belief is he was academically ineligible. He committed to the University of Arizona, but he did not attend Arizona. He went and played over in Australia in the NBL. He averaged about 4 points in 15 minutes, but they're raving about him. I mean, he's an intriguing prospect. He's long, he's athletic, he's got a ton of athleticism. He can jump out of the gym, he can shoot it from pretty much anywhere on the floor. So the only problem with him is he's young, and so it's going to take him some time to really grow and develop and really integrate into this Thunder roster that they have now. And that's a question that people have. Is he going to be able to come in and contribute and help out Russell Westbrook, Steven Adams, Victor Oladipo, and those guys immediately? Or is he going to be a guy who goes to the Oklahoma City Blue and has to spend some time in the G League, is what they're calling it now, and really just kind of get some development down there in the minor leagues?
And we do, correct me if I'm wrong, but they do have a history of kind of going after younger players like that, right? And stocking them away a little bit, giving them a little bit of time to develop.
Yeah, it is a part of the Thunder's way of building. They are really big on building through the draft because they're not going to go out and splurge on free agents. And a lot of free agents, for whatever reason, in the past haven't come to Oklahoma City. They've had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka. They've had money tied up, so they haven't had money to give those players, and they haven't had a lot of minutes to give those players. Now they're in different territory where you don't really know what direction Sam Presti's going to go in, and it's going to take this guy some time. Presti admitted that last night, late last night in his address to the media, and who else they can get remains to be seen. There's a lot of talk about Paul George being traded, a lot of talk about where Blake Griffin's going to end up. The one thing that people know is that this team still needs some help, and the guy that they got last night, while he might be good for the future, there's a big question about how good he's going to be immediately.
Paul George, great name or whatever. Mikoy is available. Free agency, not under contract with anybody at this time.
I'd sign for the minimum.
Yeah.
I can't get Don to come play basketball with me on Wednesday night, so I don't know. But I'm also not offering $300,000.
The Bionic Man, come on, get him out there.
Is Lakers a bad word around here?
No, Warriors is a bad word around here.
All right.
Anybody in this draft a senior in college? Did anybody actually make it 4 years?
That's a great question. And, some of the later picks, there was a record number. I think 16 freshmen were taken in the first round last night. But I don't know how many seniors. It couldn't have been more than a handful.
It sort of goes against everything you were taught to believe, which is, hey, stay in, you'll get better, you get bigger, you get more polished in the game. It's apparently they want their hands on them sooner so they can start molding them, maybe?
Well, the draft is all about upside and potential. You can use it to package some picks and some players maybe on your current roster and go out and get some veteran help. But for the most part, the draft is about rebuilding, planning for the future, and that's what the Thunder has always done. And from that standpoint alone, they accomplished that fundamental goal of getting someone in this program who they can develop and really work with and try to get to a point where he can be a real contributor.
Okay. Let's talk about the Lakers for a second. No, let's not. Don, a big building in Bricktown that everybody sort of knows and is aware of, that's sort of a looming presence down there, the old spaghetti factory, new plans.
Yeah, well, those of us who've been here a long time, we remember the Spaghetti Warehouse when that was pretty much all there was in Bricktown was Spaghetti Warehouse. And so if you wanted to go to Bricktown, you went there and ate. And people were excited about it back in the 90s because there was this new entertainment district in town. This goes back even before the canal was built. But over time, a lot of other things developed down there, and Spaghetti Warehouse kind of went by the wayside. Last year it closed. Even when the Spaghetti Warehouse was open and operating, I believe it's a 5-story building, the top 4 stories were just abandoned, were neglected, and just sitting there. And they were never developed. And then the Spaghetti Warehouse closed early last year, and it basically just sat there. The owners of the building were approached by several developers. They never could reach a deal with anybody. Finally, the city decided we're going to put this on our neglected, abandoned buildings list. And at that point, the owners of the building tried to board up some windows and do some things. But ultimately what happened was the urban renewal said, listen, we're going to target this building. It's in the heart of our entertainment district. It should not be sitting abandoned. And that got a deal done. Apparently, there's now a local developer has a contract to buy the building. We don't know exactly how much he paid for it, but others had said that they were asking something in the area of $3.8 million for that building. But it can be a very valuable property because of where it sits. And
Well, is it salvageable, given that it was sort of left open for so long, and wasn't there a lot of water damage and stuff?
there's floors are buckled. I mean, there's bird waste on the upper floors. You can go over there right now and see there's a window that is wide open on the top floor. But I just noticed this morning Steve Lackmeyer was chatting, and he said apparently structurally the building is in decent shape. That there's going to be obviously a lot of work that needs to be done, but that the building can be redeveloped.
I think it's really interesting. We may have talked about this before. I think Spaghetti Warehouse's business model initially was going into these parts of these urban cities that had been abandoned, getting a cheap property, converting it, and sort of being the genesis of redevelopment efforts. I mean, I saw the same thing happen in Kansas City, where they came into a neighborhood where there was nothing going on.
Yeah.
And took an old historic building, turned out the first floor. It was a hugely successful restaurant that drew a lot of ancillary development around it, and I'm guessing we probably had the same experience here a little bit.
Yeah, and there was a lot of excitement back in the day when Spaghetti Warehouse came here. It was an unusual kind of a place. But over the years, I think what people discovered was the spaghetti, frankly, wasn't all that great.
Well, and I think the neighborhoods that they helped pioneer redevelopment in maybe have become a little bit too expensive for them as well. Because
think that's right.
St. Louis has seen theirs closed. I believe Kansas City's is closed.
Tulsa.
Now you see. So I mean, I wonder if they haven't just been so successful that they prompted something that they couldn't keep up with the Joneses in their own neighborhood anymore.
That could be.
Anyway, interesting story. A lot of stuff going on. What's in business this weekend? Anything exciting?
Well, on Sunday, Steve's going to take a look at what was formerly called the Journal Record Building. It's right adjacent to the memorial. In fact, the Memorial Museum, Oklahoma City Memorial Museum, is on the first floor of that building. It's been totally redone. It's really a spectacular building. One other thing I'll mention that we just found out, I found out about just before I came in here, Steve called me and told me that, remember KD's place down in Bricktown? And they turned it into Legacy Grill. It's going to close, and it's going to reopen apparently as a Charleston. So Steve's working on that story as we speak. So that's another little tease for stuff that'll be in Saturday's Oklahoman and on News OK probably later today.
And then we're also gearing up for the MVP vote.
Russell
Comes out
Westbrook,
next
we
week,
assume, is going to win MVP on Monday night. The award show is from New York City. I think it's 8 o'clock on Monday, so we'll have complete coverage leading up to and off of that award show.
Never good to assume things about what's going to happen with the Thunder. You think you know. You think you know people. You think people might stay, and then they leave. Who knows? So anyway, that's the stuff you can get at newsok.com. In the Oklahoman, pick it up. I hope you enjoy it. We'll see you next week.